Well, from Rajasthan, now we are discussing the state of Madhya Pradesh, where the Congress party has formally approached the Election Commission in Madhya Pradesh, alleging that the BJP is attempting to influence the counting process and has requested additional security. Now, it is important to note that the accounting towards CNN News18 exit polls, BJP is prevailing in Madhya Pradesh. Now, according to the sources, Congress has stand monitoring its MLAs due to concerns about poaching, especially with the exit polls indicating a narrow margin. Now, the Congress is keen to avoid a repeat of past incidents and is taking precautionary measures time and again. While CNN News18's Zaka Jacob decodes the three factors influencing voters in Madhya Pradesh. Let's take a look at that report.
I have three X factors which I think are going to be critical, and the pollsters will explain in just a moment when we go to them how they're reading these three X factors. The first X factor is the big M, the Mahila factor, and we've mentioned this yesterday as well in our broadcast. There were 18.3 lakh extra women voters this time around, 2.72 as opposed to 2.41. That's almost 2% of the entire electorate. Now, the question is, have they gone for Ladli Behna or have they gone for the Congress guarantees? Now, how are the pollsters factoring in the women vote? A lot will depend on that. That is X factor number one. X factor number two, because I mentioned earlier on that last time when Madhya Pradesh polled, we were here till 11:30. One of the reasons why we were here till 11:30 p.m. was because of the tight fights. If you look at 2018 and look at the tight fights, there were 30 seats. That is more than 10% of the total number of seats in the state. 30 seats where the winning margin was less than 3,000 votes. It was less than 1.5 to 2% of the votes. 15 of those 30 seats went to the Congress, the BJP had 14 and the others had 1. Interestingly, the BJP had a bigger vote share despite getting lesser number of seats in those tight fights than the Congress, and yet the Congress had just one nose ahead, 15 to 14. So those tight fights are going to be critical. And mind you, these tight fights are spread across various regions of Madhya Pradesh. Some of them are there in Gwalior Chambal, some of them in the Malwa belt, some of them in the central part of the state, some of them in Vindhyachal. So it's not like, those tight fights are concentrated in just one region. So those tight fights, how are they going? That's the second X factor. And the third X factor, and this is again going to be critical for the Congress party, the BJP bastions. Now, these are seats that the BJP has never lost since 2003. Since they have been winning elections in the state of Madhya Pradesh for the last 20 years, the BJP has not lost these 58 seats. 48% vote share, almost 50%, which means 1 out of 2 votes is going to the BJP. The Congress's vote share in these 58 seats is 11% lower than the BJP. And again, it is not like these seats are concentrated in one region. It's there in Chambal, it's there in the central part of the state, it's there in Vindhyachal, a couple of seats in Mahakashal, but really it's spread right, some in Malwa as well. So it's really spread all across these states. Now, the reason why these 58 seats are important is because if this trend continues, and remember, these are seats that the BJP has not lost in the last 20 years. If this trend continues, then the starting point of the race for 230 for the Congress is 230 minus 58, let's say 60. So it's actually 170 seats. So Congress needs to win 116, which is the majority out of 170. That is an incredible strike rate. You have to get a strike rate of 66%. You have to win 2 out of every 3 seats you're contesting, unless, of course, it is such a big wave, it is such an undercurrent that in those 58-60 seats that the BJP has not lost in the last 20 years, the Congress is able to topple them in those 58 to 60 seats. So these are the three X factors.